शुक्रायषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। समुद्यान्तनिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपाकदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we started chapter 30th. We started yesterday and we completed up to verse 35. To verse 35. Okay. Okay, so the Lord appeared. For how many years they performed tapasya, the Prachetas?
10,000 years.
10,000 celestial years actually. 10,000 or just probably, no, just mention 10,000 years, not celestial years. You can check that once. The 10,000 Divya Varsh or 10,000 earthly years. They were doing on Bhumandala, it should be 10,000 here, earthly years basically. Okay, he said for thousands of celestial years you will enjoy, kind of something. On Divya Varsh Sahasrana, he said, yeah, that is, you will enjoy for thousands of celestial years. But they perform tapasya for 10,000 earthly years. Okay, fine. So the Lord informed them they will have a great son who will be equal in fame to, he will be no less in fame than the fame of the son is compared to the fame of Lord Brahma. In his influence, he will be no less than Lord Brahma. Yeah. So, and he will spread the good name of the family. And Prabhupada says, just like in the purport, Krishna spread the fame of Yadu dynasty. And we thought that as devotees we can spread the fame of our Guru and Krishna. Then the Lord, he asked them to take a benediction. But Lord himself gave some benediction. Can someone recall what the benediction Lord gave? Lord himself gave certain benedictions. Yes. Or you will do this. Yeah, it is kind of benedictions.
Like you will get married to the...
Yes, that is foretold, and then he gave benediction that for thousands of celestial years you will enjoy thousands of earthly and heavenly pleasure with undiminished senses. They said, oh, we may become entangled. What did the Lord say? If someone says, oh, why you give the opulences which entangle your devotees? What the Lord says? to reply to that?
You will say free from contamination.
Okay, wait, I'll ask. What does the Lord say about that?
So, no give the assurance that eventually you will still come back to me.
Yes, so Lord tells that actually opulence is given on me, do not entangle. It's by karma when one gets opulence or enjoyment, they entangle. Opulence given by me does not entangle. And especially, yes, and the Lord says, especially while being in a household life, you will engage in bhakti characterized by hearing about me. So your mind will be hearing about me, therefore you will not be bounded. What to speak of you? Even lesser transcendently, the example is given, not bounded. Who are those? The lesser transcendentalists. Even those who realize the Lord as Brahman, not Uchitina Kamshati. What to speak of you? You will not be bound. You are my devotees. Even the Brahman realized people are not bewildered and entangled. What to speak of you? As the Lord gave assurance. And then the Prachetas began to speak. The Prachetas glorified the Lord in several ways. Glorified the Lord in several ways, very beautifully. And yes, the Lord is glorified as Hari Medase. Can someone recall what does Prabhupada explain about Hari Medase? Raise your hand. Yes, Prabhu.
So Lord is always thinking how to deliver the conditions.
Yes, whose intelligence is always working how to deliver the conditions. So Hari Medase means intelligence. Whose brains work only for the deliverance of the conditions. Hari Medase. And also the Lord loves to increase the influence of his devotees. Prabhave Sarvasatmata. And then they glorify the Lord following the footsteps of Mother Kunti. And Namaha Kamala Navhaya, Pankaj. That verse we studied. Yes. So it said that the Prachetas glorified that this form of yours is a great benediction for us. You have manifested this form as a great benediction for us who are suffering this material world. Prabhupada describes which form of the Lord is the most valuable benediction for all of us. Archavigraha form. So the form which my Lord manifested, the Prachetas glorify this form, destroy all suffering. This is a supreme benediction. The Lord says, for the embodied soul, the Archavigraha form which the Lord manifests is a supreme benediction. Yes, so in this way they glorify the Lord, and then they describe that the Lord wants them to ask benediction. They said, you know our heart, you are in everyone's heart. But the Lord said, no, still you should ask. What is the first benediction they asked for? There are several benedictions they asked. What is the first benediction they asked for? Yes, Prabhu. That was the second one. What is the first benediction?
Satisfaction of the Lord is always.
Yes, we only want your satisfaction. Prasanno Bhagavan Esha. May you be pleased with us. That is the first benediction. Then they give a reason for asking second benediction. They say, okay, we want to ask some more. What is the reason they give for asking second benediction? They give some logic or reason. You are Ananta. Nahiyam Prastham Vibhuti Na. Ananta, you are unlimited, so therefore you can give many benedictions. So we want to ask more. The Lord says, take more, as many as you want. They said, we only want your lotus feet. And the second benediction. But the sweetness of the Lord Lotus feet can only be tasted in the association of devotees. Yeah, process is hearing, but in the association of devotees. Therefore, in several verses, they glorify and desire the association of devotees. So, therefore, we only want a lotus feet analogy, just like, and that will be completely satisfied just by having a lotus feet. What is the analogy?
The bee actually.
Yes, the bumblebee, when it approaches which tree?
The
Parijata. This is a very important verse. 32. Parijatan jase labde sharango. Let's start from 32. Beside behind me. Parijatan jasa labde.
Parijatan jasa labde.
Sharangunyan sevate.
Sarangunyan sevate.
Sadhya Sakshat Kim Kim Vanimahi.
Dear Lord, when the bee approaches the celestial tree called the Parijata, it certainly does not leave the tree because there is no need for such action. Similarly, when we have approached your lotus feet and taken shelter of them, what further benediction may we ask?
So, yes. So they said to have a lotus feet is the highest benediction. Parijatan jase labde sharangu anyan nasevate. The bumblebee doesn't go anywhere else when it goes to Parijata tree. So Lord Lotus feet are compared to Parijata tree. And Prabhupada beautifully writes, when a devotee is actually engaged in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, his engagement in itself is so perfect that there is no need to ask for further benediction. When the bee approaches the Parijat tree, it gets unlimited supply of honey. The bee doesn't have to go anywhere. The Parijat tree gives unlimited supply of honey. Therefore, that means the service of the Lord Lotus feet gives unlimited nectar, unlimited satisfaction, joy to the devotee. There is no need to go to any other place. Yeah. Prabhupada says the Parijata tree is not commonly found in this material world. In material world also we see some flowers called Parijata, but they are perverted reflection. They're not commonly found. Prabhupada writes here in the forward. Okay.
Is it not when Krishna brought the Parijata?
Krishna brought the Parijata from the heaven.
Same Parijata or something else?
Same Parijata. Same Parijata has been taught. Okay, so therefore they say we want only lotus feet, but the nectar of the lotus in the lotus feet of the Lord, or like Parijata tree, one can only taste its sweetness in the association. Therefore they glorify association. Okay, 33. Yes, Prabhu.
See, here it said Parijata is not commonly found, so that means it
Not
can-
commonly found. Not commonly found in this, within this material world, means on this planet Earth. But it's found in the, when we talk in the context of material world here means
Heaven.
our planet Earth. On the Bhumandala, it's a heavenly tree. The Kalpavriksha, there are several Kalpavriksha in the heavenly planets. You know, Indra had ka Parijata tree in heaven. Okay. Yeah, so then text 33 says, as long as we are rotating in the samsara chakra under the action of our own karmas, under the action-reaction of karmas, we only want the association with the devotees. And Prabhupada says, this is the best benediction a devotee can ask. Association of devotees. The Lord says, well, you are asking for association of devotees to become free from samsara. You directly take that. Is that samsara, freedom from samsara? The association of devotees cannot be compared to Swargam, Apunarbhavam. This is one of the and a fraction of devotees, a fraction of association cannot be compared to the Swarga and Apavarga, not to speak of any other worldly benedictions. So basically, what do they want the association of devotees? Not to become free from the freedom of samsara, but to
Purity of the desires, purity of the heart.
yes, but to actually hear and chant the association of devotees, which then leads to further results. So one of the most important thing is association of devotees is the means and also the end. It is the sadhana, it is also the sadhya. Association of devotees. Therefore, it is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hai Sadhu Sang. Association of devotees like the means, sadhana. Krishna Prema Janme Teho Puna Mukhya Ang. Even when one develops love for Krishna, it remains Mukhya Ang, one of the foremost limbs. Therefore, association of devotee is most important or equally important in the stage of sadhana and also in the stage of sadhya, in the stage of practice and in the stage of perfection. Therefore, they say, what is the use of any other benediction, basically? It cannot be compared to any other attainment. Then we discuss that wherever there is discussion of the topics of the Lord, and discussion of the topic of the Lord, Yatre, let's recite this verse. Yatre Dante Kathamrishtas
Yatre Kathamrishtas
Krishnaya Prasamo Yataha
Krishnaya Prasamo Yataha
Nirvairam Yatra Bhuteshu
Nirvairam Yatra Bhuteshu
Advego Yatra Kaschana
Nirvairam Yatra Kaschana.
Whenever pure topics of transcendental world are discussed, the members of the audience forget all kinds of material hankerings, at least for the time being. Not only that, but they are no longer envious of one another, nor do they suffer from anxiety or fear.
Okay, so what is the subject matter of glorification of this verse? Actually, you see, though the Katha of the Lord is glorified, but actually it is a Katha in the association of devotees. The section is glorification of association. So Yatra here means in that association. In that association, when one hears the topic of the Lord, pure topics of the Lord. So the actually subject matter of glorification is the association. Yatra edente katham vistas Krishnaya prasamo yata nirvairam yatra means in that association. In that association. In that association, one hears pure katha and one, yes. So I just want to quickly give you one small acronym to remember these three beautiful outcomes of hearing Krishna Katha. What is that? Whenever there is discussion of pure topic of the Lord, what happens? Trishna means material hankering go away. Second, the enmity goes away, right? Nirvairam. And udveg, the agitation, the agitation is word is used over here. The anxiety and the agitation goes away. So remember the word katha, right? We saw katha, Krishna katha, K-A-T-H-A. So K stands for when we hear of Krishna, right? A is Krishna. A is in association. Okay, so in Katha, we are talking of the Katha of the Lord. Katha is actually hearing of Krishna in the association of the Lord. It gives three results, which are THA. It gives three results. It frees us from, T is thirst for material enjoyment, which is Krishna. It frees us from thirst for material enjoyment, Krishna. Second, it frees us from hatred, which is nirvairam. One becomes free from Krishna, thirst for material enjoyment. One becomes free from the hatred towards other living entities. And third, one becomes free from all anxieties and agitation of the mind. So that is what this word describes. So how magnanimous is Krishna Katha? Just see. The Katha of the Lord is so magnanimous. But great results come by hearing. I just thought for some time, for my remembrance, I like to. So now it's easy to remember even for a longer time. Three effects. It's a suitable acronym because in the context of, right, in the context of Katha, the context is also hearing Katha. Okay, so we go ahead. 36. Yatra Narayana Sakshat
Narayana Sakshat
Bhavaanyasinam Gatihi
Bhagavanyasinam Gatihi
Samstuyate Satkathasu
Samstuyate Satkathasu
Mukta Sangai Punah Punah.
Mukta Sangai Punah Punah.
Yeah.
The Supreme Lord Narayana is present among devotees who are engaged in hearing and chanting the holy name of the Supreme Personality of God. Lord Narayana is the ultimate goal of sannyasis used in the renounced order of life, and Narayana is worshipped through this Sankirtan movement by those who are liberated from material contamination. Indeed, they recite the holy name again and again.
Okay, so thus Yatra means in that association. The Supreme Lord Narayana is present. First, all the thirst goes away, the enmity or the hatred goes away, all the agitation of the mind goes away. And when the Lord Narayana is present, wherever his pure topics are being discussed. And thus the pure-hearted devotees always glorify Narayana. So therefore, association of devotees in one sense is when the devotees come together to glorify the Lord. That is association. Not just simply the devotees are staying together, that is association. No. The devotees are actually coming together to glorify the Lord, to serve Him. Okay. This verse, there are two kinds of atheists in this world. There are two kinds of atheists. You can say there are materialistic atheists and there are Vedic atheists. So, yeah. So materialistic atheists, they don't just believe in God, they are only attached to matter. There are others who are, you know,
Vedic,
yeah, Vedic.
Vedic and non-Vedic.
Vedic, non-Vedic or whatever you can say.
Because materialists are there in Vedicals.
Materialists are there in Vedic also, that's sense. So you can say, yeah, two kinds of atheists. So there are also Vedic atheists. Who are these Vedic atheists? There are several of them. One is those who consider the Devatas equal to Lord Narayana. See, they believe in Devatas, they believe in Narayana. But they think all these Devatas are equal to Narayana. They are also described as atheists, Pashanti. So this Prabhupada in relation to Narayan here, the Lord Narayan is present when the devotees glorify the Lord. So in relation to that, Prabhupada describes, he says the Mayavadi sannyasis are missing the real presence of Narayan because they falsely claim to be Narayan himself. So in the Katha, the Lord Narayan is present, but they themselves consider to be Narayan, so therefore they actually miss the presence of Narayan. So those who consider themselves or even the Devatas to be equal to Narayan, they are all Vedic atheists, Pashantis. Okay, we go ahead, 37.
Dear Lord, your personal associates and devotees wander all over the world to purify even the holy places of pilgrimage. Is not such activity pleasing to those who are actually afraid of material existence?
Okay, so when the devotees are wandering all over the world, they actually purify the places, but they wander all over the world actually to be purified by the places of pilgrimage. That is the intention of devotees. So it's mentioned Tesham Virachatam Padbhyam Tirthanam Pavanechya. The devotees wander thinking that we should be purified by going to holy places, but actually the holy places feel we are getting purified. So therefore that is the mood of the devotees and the holy places. The holy places feel we are getting purified, but devotees go to holy places to be purified. So therefore he is saying Bhitasya kim na rocheta. Bhitasya kim na rocheta. So who is speaking all these verses? The Prachetas. Again, this is glorifying association of devotees. So even the holy places basically desire the association of devotees. Therefore, those who are in this material world fearful, Bhitasya means fearful of material existence, should they not desire the association of devotees? Whose association is desired even by holy places. So that's another glorification of the association of devotees. Okay. $38. Translation.
Dear Lord, by virtue of a moment's association with Lord Shiva, who is very dear to you and who is your most intimate friend, we were fortunate to attain you. You are the most expert physician, capable of treating the incurable disease of material existence. On account of our great fortune, we have been able to take shelter at your lotus feet.
Okay, then they are further now they are glorifying the association of devotees. And they give, because of association of Lord Shiva, who is a great devotee, they have actually attained by his the power of association of Lord Shiva. And then they glorify the Lord as the best remedy su duschikitsasya bhavasya mrityu. This bhava rog is most difficult to cure. Just like cancer cannot be cured, terminal cancer cannot be cured. The bhava rog is like that, it cannot be cured. But you are the best remedy for this otherwise incurable bhava rog. And thus we have obtained you. And when one obtains you, one is automatically free from this bhava rog. And that has happened by the association of Lord Shiva. So therefore, now in this text, you can say the Lord Shiva is being glorified, yes. The Lord is being glorified as the cure, and the association of Lord Shiva is being glorified. But if you study in the context is glorification of association of devotees. You see again. So the same verse can be studied from different perspectives. Just like we saw the Yatra Edamte Katham Rishtas. The focus there is in that association, in this context. But we can also study that verse from the point of view of the power of Krishna Katha. So all these are like studying the same thing from different perspectives. Okay, so here this verse is quoted to show the power of association of Lord Shiva, by which Lord himself is attained. That is in this context, in this section, that is the focus. But of course there are other lessons, the glorification of the Lord also over here. Yes, 39:40.
Dear Lord, we have studied the Vedas, accepted a spiritual master, and offered respect to Brahmanas, advanced devotees, and aged personalities who are spiritually very advanced. We have offered our respect to them, and we have not been envious of any brother, friends, or anyone else. We have also undergone severe austerity within the water and have not taken food for a long time. All the spiritual assets of ours are simply offered for your satisfaction. We pray for this benediction only, and nothing more.
Okay, so they describe they have executed so many activities, they describe them. Right? We have Tannaha Swaditam Guruvaha Prasadita, we have studied from our teachers, we have pleased them. Viprascha Vriddhascha Sadhana Vrittya, we behave properly and pleased the Brahmanas. Arya Nataha Suhrido Bhratarascha, we respected the Aryas, we respected our friends and each other, our brothers, and so on and so forth. Sarvani Bhutan, so we have not been inimical to living entities, rather kind to them. So they describe all the various activities they have performed with good intention. Vishwanath Thakur puts it very nicely. He said, we have done many random activities, whatever with good intention. We can, this is nice to be done, this should be done. Like we read, in this world, this is good to do, this is beneficial to do, this is auspicious. So they said, randomly we have done so many activities. May all those random activities done with good intention be offered for your pleasure. May you be pleased. Right? Yes, so therefore, that is their basically intention of describing all the activities which you have done. May that be offered to you so that you may be pleased with us. This is the benediction they have asked for. So Vishwanath Thakur says, being ignorant, we do not know the process of pleasing him. We being ignorant. So therefore, whatever randomly we have been doing tapasya under the water, not eating, so on and so forth, let that be offered to you for your pleasure.
Sometimes devotees ask them, is it okay for us to glorify about our own posterity, sadhana, whatever we have done?
No, they are not glorifying, therefore. Therefore, they are talking whatever we have done,
It's for your pleasure.
let that be for your pleasure. So they let that be offered for your pleasure. They are not saying that we have done great austerity. That is not the mood of saying over here. You see, that is not the mood of saying. They are only saying that we have done several activities, this. Somehow under ignorance they are saying. We are not ignorant, we are basically here that the mood is, as Vishwanath Thakur says, we didn't know whether this will please you or not. So under some ignorance or with good intention, we thought this will please you, this will please you. So we did many activities. But we now hope that we want to offer all that to you for your pleasure. You got the point here?
Yes.
So in that sense, this, see, when we say I did this, there could be some pride over there. But here they are, in humility they are saying,
Under ignorance, you
yeah, under ignorance we do not know the process of pleasing you and we did so many things. But we hope that.
Otherwise, you would have gone to someone to hear Krishna Katha. Otherwise, you would have gone
Yeah, we would have directly heard, but we did so many things here and there that we offered for your pleasure. That way. So this is the humility also over here, because they were directed by Lord Shiva, they were ordered by the Father, so they were not total as such random. But still, out of humility they are saying that we did so many things. You're not sure whether they are pleasing to you or not, but we want to offer that to you and you may be pleased with us.
Dear Lord, even great yogis and mystics who are very much advanced by virtue of austerities and knowledge and who have completely situated themselves in pure existence, as well as great personalities like Manu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva, cannot fully understand your glories and potencies. Nonetheless, they have offered their prayers according to their own capacities. In the same way, we, although much lower than these personalities, also offer our prayers according to our own capability.
Again, you see, they say that now that great personalities who are very learned, they have offered their prayers according to their capacity. Though no one can actually fully understand you, but the great personalities, yeah, as per the best of their capacities, offered prayers. So the great learned personalities, as per their best capacity, have offered prayers. We are not so learned, we are ignorant, we are foolish, but we will follow their footsteps and offer prayers to you as per our capacity. Their capacity is great. So no one can fully understand you, but still everyone must glorify you as per their capacity, as per their understanding. The Prabhupada would also ask all the devotees to preach. Whatever we have learned, we should preach, and then gradually our capacity will increase that way. So therefore, as per our best capacity, we want to glorify you. The same Siddhant, who has spoken the same Siddhant in the beginning of one's prayers. Okay. Yes. Akashe anant tate yeche pakshigan vyara yatra shakti tata kare arohan. We say Akash is anant, the Lord is also anant. But the bird flies as per one's strength of the wings. Different birds fly differently. So therefore, I will also glorify the Lord as per my strength, whatever strength I have. Okay, that is one. There is another great Mahajan who has Prahlad Maharaj. In the beginning of his prayer, he is Brahmadaya Surgana Munayothan Siddha. So this Brahmadaya Surgana, all the Munis who are still in Sattva, they have glorified you, but even they cannot fully glorify you. What to speak of me, I am born in the family of demons. Ugrajate, he calls it. Ugrajate. Born from a demon. But still, I am glorifying, basically. Yes, Prahlad Maharaj has also echoed a similar siddhants, similar mode. 799 is I think that's the first prayer, I guess, of Prahlad Maharaj. Brahmadaya Surgana Munayoti Siddha Tvayakatan 42.
Dear Lord, you have no enemies or friends. Therefore, you are equal to everyone. You cannot be contaminated by sinful activities, and your transcendental form is always beyond the material creation. You are supreme personality of Godhead because you remain everywhere within all existence. You are consequently known as Vasudeva. We offer you our respectful obeisances.
Okay, so then they glorify the Lord over here. We will glorify you of whatever our capacity is. So Nama Samaya Shuddhaya. The Lord is Samaya, equal to all. He is supremely pure. He is Purusha, but Paraya, transcendental Purusha. As we know, there are three Purushas, Supreme Person. He is Vasudevaya, son of Vasudev, and he is always situated in pure Sattva, that is Sattvaya. Thus we offer obeisances to you, O Supreme Lord. In this way they glorify the Lord.
Why Samaya is equal to everyone? What is the meaning?
The Lord is equal to everyone, just like the Lord nourishes all living entities. Right? So the Lord is not partial, He is equal to all. Yeah, He is equal to everyone. He is equal to all the living entities. So the Lord is not partial, basically. Right? He provides for the nourishment, for the well-being, sustenance of all living entities. Though His special affection for His devotees does not disturb His equality. The Lord He is equal to all, but He is also specially inclined to devotees. Right? So therefore Lord is not partial, but He is reciprocal. See, being reciprocal does not disturb the equality. Being reciprocal does not disturb the equality. So, like parents provide equal facilities for all children, but the child would depend more on the parents. Parents also take care of that child even more. So therefore the Lord is impartial and reciprocal. Both are not mutually contradictory qualities. this way, the Prachetas offered these prayers. And now Maitreya Rishi concludes. Read the translation.
The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Indra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the protector of sunlit souls, being thus addressed by the Prachetas and worshipped by them, replied, May whatever you have prayed to be fulfilled. After saying this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose prowess is never defeated, left. The Prachetas were unwilling to be separated from him because they had not seen him to their full satisfaction.
Okay. Yeah. So the Lord is described here as Sharanya Vatsala. You see, the Lord is Deen Vatsala, Sharanya Vatsala, Bhakta Vatsala. The word is used here is Sharanya Vatsala. So anyone who takes shelter of the Lord shows affection to that person. Or anyone who is Deen, who has no possessiveness, or who only want to possess him, the Lord is affectionate toward that. And of course that Bhakta Vatsala is always there. So in this way, the Lord is Sharanya Vatsala. And the Lord, therefore the Prachetas who glorified him, the Lord being pleased said, Tatheti, Tatha iti, let it be so. Whatever you ask for, let that be so. And though anichtam yanam atrapt chakshusham, they are not fully satiated. See, important thing is the devotees in this world, they experience increasing satisfaction, like the graph is like this, increasing satisfaction, but there is no satiation. Increasing satisfaction, but no satiation. The graph in due course of time, so there is like satisfaction and time. Okay, so this curve is satisfaction, this axis, y-axis, this is time. The graph of materialistic come, they increase some, kick in the beginning, some great thrill. But it comes down and they are satiated, zero. And then it starts negative, goes negative. So they have the maximum satisfaction is in contemplation. When they are contemplating on sense pleasure, that time is the maximum happiness. Kutra shisha, shutis, kutra shisha, shuti sukha amir tishni rupa. So Prahlad says, the happiness in the sense object is when you talk about them. I'm going to have this, I'm going to. When you're contemplating, that time is the maximum happiness. Once you get it, then misery, it gives less and less satisfaction, and then you are satiated. Just like the child is excited to have a toy, but after some time the child satiated, and then the child throws away later. So there is in this world there is a decreasing satisfaction which comes to satiation or even negative after that. But in the material rasa, there is increasing satisfaction, but no satiation. Satiation means stripped, fed up now. In the material world, all the pleasures give some happiness in the beginning, it decreases, person is fed up, then it turns negative, it goes negative. Material rasa. But spiritual rasa gives increasing satisfaction and there is no satiation. The curves are totally opposite. I hope that graph is clear to you.
Yes.
Right? This is the negative.
Beginning of chanting like not much of taste.
many a times. Right? So then gradually we develop the satisfaction of the taste and it goes on increasing without satiation. Tripti. Satiation means that one is done away with, fed up. There is no satiation. Therefore they are not satiated yet. Though they experience great satisfaction and increasing satisfaction, but they were never satiated.
It's like sine wave.
Sine is not sine.
Sine wave, when we feel.
Then sine wave, I'm not sure sine wave in the sense, a particular object we are saying is this curve. Particular object. Then you have to find another object to have increased pleasure. It comes down. So that way you can see, find another object, right, to get some pleasure. But again the pleasure diminishes. 44.
Thereafter, all the Prachetas emerged from the water of the sea. They then saw that all the trees on land had grown very tall, as if to obstruct the path to the heavenly planets. These trees had covered the entire surface of the world. At this time, the Prachetas became very angry.
Okay. Prabhupada writes here that Prabhupada writes here that the father left the kingdom probably in the custody of the minister, but there was a neglect. The kingdom was without king, there was a neglect. And due to the neglect, the trees had grown everywhere. Prabhupada writes in the third or fourth line. However, when they came out, they saw that everything had been neglected to do the king's actions. Right? Fifth line you see. They first observed that food grains were not being produced and that there were no agricultural activities. Indeed, the surface of the world was practically covered by very tall trees. It seemed as though the trees were determined to stop people from going into outer space to reach the heavenly kingdoms. Okay, so the Prachetas became angry. What was the reason for anger? In one line, can someone describe what was the reason for anger of Prachetas?
Dharma has not been followed.
Dharma is not being followed, fine. What is the reason for the anger of Prachetas?
It's not allowing progress.
What?
It's not allowing to go.
Who?
The living entity. It's not allowing to go into Swarga.
Okay, the trees are not allowing the living entities to go to Swarga. Okay.
And for production of crops.
Production of crops
They hinder.
is hindered. What is the reason for their anger? Yes, some more points.
Ecological balance.
Ecological imbalance. Okay, basically, you see the Lord asked them to now rule the kingdom. The kingdom is covered everywhere by the trees. No agriculture is happening. If there is no agriculture happening, no production of food grain, that means what will the living entities eat? And you have to have food grains to feed the animals, and then only sacrifice can be performed. So it's not that tall trees are preventing physically people to go to Swarga. You are able to perform sacrifices, you need grains. The cows eat the grain and produce milk and the ghee and all. It's all interrelated. So the trees are, yes, required, but they had gone out of proportion. There was hardly, they had taken up the land for agriculture and even for residential purpose to a good extent. So like that. So that way, they became angry because they said, how we will carry out the order of the Lord to rule the kingdom properly, to protect the citizens if we can't provide land for agriculture and all that. So the main reason they became angry is that how will we carry out the instruction of the Lord? Or how shall we serve as king? Draw them to know you.
So this anger, is it counted in terms of the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, that anger, or this is
We'll discuss about that. Therefore, the reason for that anger is because their service was obstructed. The crux of the point. Their service was obstructed. Their service is to promote sacrifice, and through sacrifice people can attain the higher planets. So because the facility for sacrifice, the facility for agriculture, for people to stay properly, so their service was being obstructed by these trees. And Prabhupada says anger exists in the transcendental realm. When one is thwarted in one's service, anger naturally comes. So that is not unnatural. In the transcendental state, when some devotee's service is thwarted, the devotee may become angry. So when once, so therefore that is not unnatural. The anger here is not unnatural. Okay, so therefore they became angry because their service was being obstructed, and what do they do? In anger, they released fire and air from their mouth because they had done some of tapasya, they had become very powerful, and they started burning all the trees. Okay, so now what happened? The cause of their anger is fine, but the anger has gone out of proportion. So it's a very important lesson for all of us. When you employ anger for a good cause, the anger usually exceeds out of proportion than required. It's very difficult to control the anger. So someone may have done a mistake and you want to chastise that person for that person's good. But what may happen? We may chastise the person more than what is required for the person. We may give the punishment or the chastisement out of proportion of the mistake. And therefore, what happened? We are implicated. So therefore, the four Kumaras became angry, and the Prabhupada realized that becoming angry is just. But what happened? Anger exceeded the limit. They cursed and said to the Lord. So it crossed the limit, basically. Many a time the anger may cross the limit. When it crosses the limit, goes out of proportion, then what happens? They became faulty. Someone is committing a small fault, out of it is their duty, or as a senior, it may be a duty, as a king, it may be a duty to punish. But if the punishment is out of proportion of the mistake, then it's your fault now. You got the point? So someone has done something wrong, we overreact. At the cause that, okay, fine, we can give the feedback, we can react. But when we overreact, the fault is ours. So therefore, it has often been seen that the anger is such a thing that even great personalities cannot check it. It goes out of the hand. Any other examples? Dhruv Maharaj. Even his anger went out of control. And therefore, who came? Swayambhu came. Any other example? Parikshit Maharaj, that was directly the intervention of the Lord. Janmeja. He wanted to punish the snake. Again, Brahmaji came and said, Baba, एक snake की गलती से कितने पूरा this is going out of control, out of proportion, inappropriate. In all the cases, we see the great personality. The personality is great. His anger has gone out of control. But their greatness is, they're still great because as soon as they were reminded, they controlled it. They put a check on it. So therefore, we learn, the greatness of a personality. So we learn two very important lessons. First is, even the great personalities may not be able to control the anger. It will go out of proportion. Second is, the greatness of a person is not that they may not commit mistake. Even great personalities may sometimes commit mistake. But as soon as they are reminded, they immediately accept and control their mistake. So therefore, their greatness is, and therefore, to Dhruv Maharaj, as soon as Sambhu Manu came and he controlled, Kubera appeared and to congratulate him. It was not easy to listen when the person is very angry, to take any advice and control one anger and check those activities. It's not easy. So, but their greatness is this. As soon as they were told that, look, it's going beyond your control, check it now, they check it. That is their greatness. So there are some important lessons over here. So one has to be very careful with the anger, basically. One is very careful. The great personalities lose control over it. What to speak of a sadhakas. Therefore, it is my practical experience, when you employ anger, it usually goes out of control. We overreact more than the mistake. We overreact. We are out of control and we over speak, over punish. actually, than the proportion of mistake. Therefore, when the Lord reminds us within the heart, after we should apologize and be more careful next time. Okay? Yes, Prabhu.
How do we know what is the limit for anger?
How do you know the limit for the anger? You can know from your experience. You can know from the result. If you employ anger within the control and you can help elevate a person, that means it is very well within the limit. But if that person becomes modified and you create enmity, you are not out of control. Right? So from the result we can see, and from our own heart is also Brahman. If you just become angry, the right proportion and not overreact, then your heart will not torment you. But if you really hurt somebody, out of proportion you react, then our own heart will also feel being tormented. Because when we hurt the living entity, the Lord who is within the heart, He stops the flow of His mercy. And He, as a conscience, He tells us that, look, you have done something wrong. So the state of our heart also, when we sincerely, right, when we don't try to cover it, the Lord also gives us the indication that we have overgone in our anger. And through the result and through the state of our own heart, we can understand that intuitively that actually I have gone overboard. So then one should be careful, apologize, and therefore the best thing is not to speak out or write something. There are some people in angry mood, they write an email, they short, sharp arrows, and then it cannot be withdrawn. Neither they repent. It happens actually. Therefore, it said that when there is too much anger, that is not the point to speak, write, say, or react in any way. Somehow control yourself and respond to the situation after the anger settles. So therefore, with one discretion, because in anger when we respond to some situation, we will almost we will overreact only. It's not easy for us to be able to react or respond appropriately when we is anger. So we have to know that for sure in angry state of mind, whatever I am going to speak, say, write, it will be overboard. It will be inappropriate. Therefore, I have to somehow control myself and let some time pass before my intelligence discretion. When anger settles, then we can see things in right perspective, and then we can respond properly. Right? So this is lesson for all of us from this last time. Okay, you go ahead.
After seeing that all the trees on the surface,
I think 45? 45.
My dear king, at the time of devastation, Lord Shiva emits fire and air from his mouth out of anger to make the surface of the earth completely treeless. The Prachitas also emitted fire and air from their mouths.
Okay, so this fire is compared to fire of devastation, actually, which was to burn all the trees. So Maitreya calls Vidura as Rajan, Tato Agni Maruto Rajan. Maitreya is addressing Vidura as Rajan, means king. He is one of the king. What is addressing as the king? Here king means Rajate iti Raja. Rajate means one who reigns. He reigns over his anger, Vidura. So Vidura being a pure devotee said, you reign over your anger. Maharaj, that way. Here Rajan, actually Rajan means calling Raja means actually Maharaj, one who is in control of one's senses of anger over here. Okay, so 46.
bodies on the surface of the earth were being turned to ashes, Lord Brahma immediately came to the sons of the king Bharisman and pacified them with words of logic.
Okay, so Lord Brahma immediately came and pacified it. Prabhupada says very nicely again, fifth line, a responsible man in any establishment is always alert to keep peace and harmony within the establishment. Who is that responsible man? Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is always alert, you think. Anything going extreme somewhere, Brahma comes and stops it. Therefore, it's a good quality of a leader. Very alert. As soon as you see there is some disharmony occurring, right, immediately check that. Especially, it's very important. Peace and harmony should be maintained. And if this is not addressed on time, then it could lead to a rift. Therefore, within a community of devotees, the leader should be very careful to immediately address any cause of rift and disharmony that is occurring. Leader should be alert. So, Lord Brahma, we get that important lesson from here. And Bhagavatam actually teaches all kinds of leadership lessons.
But too, like now, so much of chaos is happening.
Yeah.
So we don't see Brahma coming in it.
That chaos is from our point of view. From universal point of view, these are small things. Therefore, we should not be disturbed. If Brahma is not coming, it will really affect the universe. Then, then Brahma would come.
Leader also of the societies would ignore the small things.
At times. Sometimes we may think this is very great, but the leader knows how much it is small or big from the overall perspective. Go ahead.
All the trees is
47.
The remaining trees, being very much afraid of the Prachetas, immediately delivered their daughter at the advice of Lord Brahma.
Okay? So, now, looks like the Lord mentioned that you should marry Marisha. Maybe the trees heard, but they were not convinced. One daughter, 9 husbands, kind of. So now they were scared. They immediately, the Lord Brahma had to tell them, now bring your daughter and give them in marriage. So they immediately agreed. They saw the power of their son-in-law. So, 48.
Following the order of Lord Brahma, all the Prachetas accepted the girl as their wife. From the womb of this girl, the son of Lord Brahma named Daksha took birth. Daksha had to take birth from the womb of Marisha due to his disobeying and disrespecting Lord Mahadev Shiva. Consequently, he had to give up his body twice.
Okay, so now he just mentioned they married Marisha and Daksha is born. And something about Daksha now. Now, Daksha previously was born directly from Brahma without taking shelter of any womb. But now he had to die twice and take birth from a womb, which is a painful process, because of his offense to Lord Shiva. He died twice, once by the hand of Veerbhadra, but then head transplant was done. Second, he died natural death. And then, so twice he underwent the pain of death, and this time also underwent the pain of being born from a womb of a mother. Other than directly, Brahma made many of his sons, he gave them from a different limb than from his mind. They were sons of Brahma. So then he was a Brahmana, being a son of Brahma. But now he came as a Kshatriya, from the womb of a mother. So all this demotion and the painful, he had to undergo this painful death and birth by his offense to Lord Shiva. Yes.
He repeated enough, and during the Sati's time, when head was cut, he had repeated enough, and the matter was settled. That is why.
Oh no, the just repentance isn't, there is, the effect of the sins is much, effect of the aparad is not settled immediately. the reactions are reduced, but the reaction do come. And the remnant reaction are also there, they're not burned out so easily. It's not that you say sorry and things are settled. Actually, offenses are very grave, their reactions remain for a longer time and they are not easily settled.
I just remember I was reading Ramayana,
Yeah.
there that Dashrath Maharaj kills that the boy who's
Yeah.
taking water.
Yeah.
So that boy tells that, like, see, I understand that is by mistake, but you go and confess in front of my parents. So definitely there will be reaction, but it will be reduced.
It will reduce. Yeah. So
If you
reaction,
don't go and confess, then no.
then it will be much more reaction. So apologetic reaction will reduce, but it will be there, and it's not immediately settled also. The remnants, the reaction continues for quite some time. Okay. Read the next 51.
His previous body had been destroyed, but he, Krishna, inspired by the Supreme Will, created all the desired living entities in the Chakshusha Anvantara.
Okay. Yeah, it's 49. So now, important thing is, this is still Swambhuva Manvantara. Prachetas still in Swambhuva Manvantara. So Daksha was born to the Prachetas, but then he, in order to again, resume his power, previous power, he underwent tapasya for 4 Manvantara. Second, third, fourth, fifth, he was performing tapasya. 4 Manvantara. And in 6th Manvantara, he came in his full power again. Yeah. Hey, Daksha. 4 Manvantara performed tapasya. And therefore, after Pracheta only one son. And he went for long tapasya, long tapasya. There is no king now.
Oh.
There is no king now again. Therefore, Brahmaji brings Priyavrat back. So the 6th canto, Priyavrat is made the king because Daksha has gone to perform tapasya.
5th canto.
Yeah, so the 5th canto begins with activity of Priyavrat.
Temple president nahi hai.
He's gone for, his tapasya, repentance, whatever. So, उसको दंड मारे माउंटेन से नीचे उतारा अभी प्रियव्रत को ब्रह्मा जी ने.
इन्हीं को उतार सकते थे ना?
नहीं, इनको तो he had overcome, he felt a lot of, and again he wanted to, his powers were reduced and because of offense and all that, he had to undergo offense. So he went with great determination to perform tapasya to reinstate himself in that. So he was not to be brought back. Okay.
He cannot be convinced.
Yeah, he cannot be convinced, he can say. He understood that, or it is required that he does this. So, therefore, 6th Manvantara he will resume back as being a Prajapati once again. Okay, so we have read the last verse yet to be read? Yeah, 50-51. Yeah, read the translation. Note down the questions now, because you have to complete one more chapter. So, note down the question there.
After being born, Daksha, by the super excellence of his bodily luster, covered all others' bodily opulence. Because he was very expert in performing frugal activity, he was called by the name Daksha, meaning the very expert. Lord Brahma therefore engaged Daksha in the work of generating living entities and maintaining them. In due course of time, Daksha also engaged other Prajapatis, progenitors, in the process of generation and maintenance.
Okay, so Daksha later again manifested great power, expertise in fruitive activities, in procreation, all that. Okay, so now Narada Shakta Pracheta. So now Daksha has gone to perform tapasya. The Pracheta will also retire. You see now again, the Pracheta will retire on time. Next king, Whoever is the next king, we have to perfect our life. Actually, the priority also used to be that. Right? We have to perfect our life. Therefore, the king would leave. The Brahmaji or some other, they will find out the right king. Ultimately, the material world will go on, and thus Prachetas will retire, and then there will be no king. And then, as we shall see, so Priyavrat will be brought down. Go ahead, text 1. Read the translation.
The great Saint Maitreya continued. After that, the Prachetas lived at home for thousands of years and developed perfect knowledge in spiritual consciousness. At last, they remembered the blessings of Supreme Personal Godhead and left home, putting their wife in the charge of a perfect son.
Okay, now Daksha had left now. Although it's mentioned, he will leave after the Prachetas. So they put the wife in charge of Daksha, but the Daksha will also go for tapasya. That time the Priyavat will become the king. So they left, and Daksha will go later, though that has been described before. So Bhagavatam may not describe everything chronologically. In the context, Bhagavatam may describe certain occurrence that took later to be before in the context. Okay, so finally the Prachetas, there's hardly anything mentioned about Prachetas, just that only one activity mentioned, they cleared off a good amount of land. Right? Right? That's it. And then they lived household life for thousands of years and retired. One verse only. There is hardly anything mentioned about them. Okay.
The second,
Yeah.
Prachetas went to the seashore in the north, where the great liberated sage Jajali was residing. After perfecting the spiritual knowledge by which one becomes equal toward all living entities, the Prachetas became perfect in Krishna consciousness.
Okay, so then again they had the association of Jajali Muni in the ocean bank, and then the word Brahmasatran is used, understanding of the Supreme Spirit. Brahmasatran also means discussion on the meaning of the Vedas. Discussion on the meaning of the Vedas. Thus they again discuss the meaning of the Vedas with Jajali Muni and fix their mind on the Supreme Lord. And again became perfect in Krishna consciousness. Fine. Third.
After practicing the Yogasana for mystic yoga, the Prachetas managed to control their life here, mind, words, and external being. Thus, by the pranayama process, they were completely relieved of material attachment. By remaining perpendicular, they could concentrate their minds on the uppermost Brahman. While they were practicing the pranayama, the great sage Narada, who is worshipped both by demons and by demigods, came to see them.
Okay, so yeah. No, they performed some mystic yoga process, and Prabhupada says, actually they were fixed in devotion, but they would, as a matter of duty or matter of compliance, they would perform the current process for that age. Many devotees, like things would offer rituals, or mystic yoga. That is only externally, but their heart was actually fixed in devotion. Okay, so while they are performing this mystic yoga, Ashtanga yoga, pranayama, and so on, at that point of time, the Narada Muni appeared. And Narada Muni is described as Sur Asura Edyo, worshipped by Sura and Asura. Prabhupada says, it's a nice point Prabhupada makes in the purport, the last thing. Narada is the Devata actually, he is the Dev Rishi, belongs to Dev Yoni, but actually he is a perfected sage, he is a spiritual body, but externally belonging to Devatas. And Prabhupada says, so Narada is still one of the demigods, of course, and the word Dev Rishi means the saintly person among the demigods, but not even the demons envy Narada Muni. Therefore, he is equally worshipped by both demons and by demigods. A perfect Vaishnava's position should be just like Narada Muni's, completely independent and unbiased. And a nice lesson here. A perfect Vaishnava's position should be just like Narada Muni, completely independent and unbiased. Narada Muni, because see, Devatas and demons are fighting for selfish interest. Narada Muni is not having, doesn't take side of the Devatas externally because there is no selfish interest. Therefore, he is Sur Asur Aidya. Even the Supreme Lord, externally takes side of the Devatas. At times, to protect the interests of the Devatas because he has, that obligation and all that. But the pure devotees, the Lord Vishnu is never described as Sur Asur Aidya, but the pure devotees are described. Yes. Yeah, so therefore, that's the special qualification of a pure devotee like Narada. Dhira Dhira Jana Priya, same thing. Fourth.
As soon as the Prachetas saw that the great Sri Narada had appeared, they immediately got up even from their asanas. As required, they immediately offered obeisances and worshipped him. And when they saw that Narada Muni was properly seated, they began to ask him questions.
Okay, so Prachetas began to speak to Narada Muni after respecting him. Prachetasa uchuhu Swagatam te surarishayadya Nishthyano darshanam gataha Chankramanam Brahman Abhayaya yatharavahe
All the Prachetas began to address the great sage Narada. O great sage, O Brahmana, we hope you met with no disturbance while coming here. It is due to our great fortune that we are now able to see you. By the traveling of the sun, people are relieved from the fear of darkness of night, a fear brought about by thieves and rogues. Similarly, your travel is like the sun's, for you drive away all kinds of fears.
Okay, so Narada, they are comparing the traveling of Narada to be like traveling of a sun. The sun also distributes light to everyone equally, right? So the sun drives away darkness and fear. Narada Muni also drives away the darkness of ignorance and fear of samsara. Remember that. So that's why Narada Muni's traveling is compared to that of sun. Go ahead.
6. O Master, may we inform you that because of your being overly attached to family affairs, we almost forgot the instruction we received from Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu.
Okay, so now they live in household life for thousands of lives. Lord said you will not become bound. But anyone who is in the material world may be for some time covered over. Actually. Like in Priyavrata also, the Brahmaji will give assurance will never be bound by the family life. But then what happens? Being in the family life, the nature of this material world is that, yes, assurance is there, ultimate assurance. But in the immediate sense, in the immediate terms, there could be sometimes some covering as such. So one thing is, out of humility they are saying, that's yes. But also there is a reality to this statement in journal for the living entities. Even just like Prabhupada gave the assurance, ultimate assurance to some of his disciples that I'll take you back to Godhead. But in between they drifted and later they were brought back by the ultimate assurance. So by virtue of one's free will or due to the nature of this material world, one may become temporarily involved, even if there is the assurance of protection in the Lord. So therefore that one should know. Therefore they were assured they will have to be, implicated and bound. But they are saying we almost forgot, got covered over. But now the Lord has sent Narada Muni to fulfill the promise that they will ultimately come to him and they will not be entangled in the material world. Yes, so therefore even if there is Lord's ultimate and Guru's ultimate protection is there, in the immediate terms, by the circumstances, by the mercy of free will, we may become temporarily implicated. This may happen with any devotee. Text 7.
Dear Master, kindly enlighten us in transcendental knowledge, which may act as a torchlight by which we may cross the dark desires of material existence.
Okay. So they request the Narada Muni to enliven them in Tannaha Pratyod Adhyatma Jnanam. This term is used, important. Adhyatma Jnanam. This Adhyatma Jnanam is Tattvartha Darshanam, which helps us to see the truth in the right perspective, cross the material existence. So please describe Adhyatma Jnana to us. Once again, enlighten us in Adhyatma Jnana means the knowledge of the soul, literally means, or the transcendental knowledge. Please enlighten us in the transcendental knowledge. Knowledge concerning the Atma, Adhyatma Jnana, knowledge concerning the Atma. Atma could also refer to the Supreme Lord, the word Atma. Atma refers to the spirit, soul, Supreme Lord, even the body, and so on. So 7 primary meanings. But therefore, enlighten us this spiritual knowledge once again. 8th.
The great sage Maitreya continued. My dear Gurula, because he is thus petitioning with the Prachetas, the supreme devotee Narada is always observed in thoughts of the supreme personality of Godhead, infinite Guru.
Okay, so the Narada is described as, when asked by the Prachetas, Bhagavan Narada Muni, very powerful. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Avishtatma Abhraman Nipa. What is the specific quality of Narada Muni? He is always absorbed in the Lord. Bhagavati Uttama Shlok Avishtatma. So in this world, there are, most souls are Duratmas. By the mercy, someone may become a Mahatma, mercy of Guru and Krishna. One who begin the process of Sadhana Bhakti, there are all Sukriti, there can be called Mahatmas, like one who take up the process of Bhakti. Very rare actually for someone to become a Mahatma. But even among Mahatmas, Avishtatma like Narada Muni is even rare. He was totally absorbed in the Supreme Lord. So, in this way, Narada Muni is, even among the Mahatmas, we can say those who take shelter of the Lord, internal energy, Avishtatma is very difficult. It is rarely found. Of course, there are many kind of Atmas here, dissatisfied Atmas, wandering Atmas, so many, like Bhakti Atma bolte hain, so many Atmas in the material world. But the highest stage for the Atma is to absorb in Krishna, in Narada Muni, Avishtatma. Text 9.
The great sage Narada said, when a living entity is born to engage in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Controller, his birth, all his spiritual activities, his lifespan, his mind, and his words are all factually perfect.
So Narada Muni begins by saying that actually Janma, Karma, Ayu, Mana, Vacha, etc., everything, they actually become valuable. They actually become valuable when engaged in the service of the Lord. Sevate Haririshvara. And this is, in a sense, Adhyatma Jnana. In one line, in one statement, this is Adhyatma Jnana. That everything one has, and one is one's life, activities, mind, whatever, all the faculties one obtains should be engaged in the service of the Lord. Whatever the jiva has should be engaged in the service of the Lord. This is called Adhyatma Jnana, basically. And this Adhyatma Jnana is elaborated in the next 13 verses by Narada Muni. So it begins from here, 9 to 22, Narad Muni speaks. 9 to 22, there are 14 verses which describe, theme of the 14 verses is how everything should be engaged in the Lord's service. That is the most beneficial for Jiva, and that is called Adhyatma Jnana. Okay, text 10.
A civilized human being has three kinds of births. The first birth is by a pure father and mother, and this birth is called birth by seven. The next birth takes place when one is initiated by the spiritual master, and this birth is called Savitra. The third birth is called Yagnika. Takes place when one is given the opportunity to worship Lord Vishnu. Despite the opportunities for attaining such births, even if one gets the lifespan of a demigod, if one does not actually engage in the service of the Lord, everything is useless. Similarly, one's activities may be mundane or spiritual, but they are useless if they are not meant for satisfying the Lord.
Okay, the same continues. So one threefold birth, Shakra, Savitra, Yajnika hai. You may have already studied this threefold birth I described here. By birth, by Upanayana Samskar, and then Yajna, when one perform, take Diksha to Yajna. So one threefold birth is useless if it is not meant for satisfying Lord. One whole duration of life, even if that is the duration of life that of Devata or even Brahma, is useless when not engaged in satisfying the Lord. So the same theme continues. Yes, go ahead.
Without devotional service, what is the meaning of severe austerities? The process of hearing, the power of speech, the power of mental speculation, elevated intelligence, strength, and the power of the senses.
Okay, so what is the use of that if Lord is not satisfied? One is very highly qualified, educated, one is advanced in tapasya, and so on and so forth. One is very expert in understanding scriptures and explaining scriptures. All that is useless if Lord is not satisfied. Yes, that is okay. Any example of these verses from the Bhagavatam? Someone who was really had threefold births and very learned, but the Lord was not satisfied. An example from the Bhagavatam of such a person that text 10 and 11 are describing. Someone who is advanced in austerities, can understand the scriptures. Daksha, yes, Daksha in the immediate sense.
But he satisfies the Lord very much.
That way, he will perform this thing, yajna, and externally the Lord comes to. Romharshan became proud. Yes, Romharshan is one example. Romharshan is one example. Because of his pride, he dissatisfied the Lord Balaram. And another example is the Yajnik Brahmanas in the 10th cantos. They were also but they just lacked devotion. Otherwise, they were very advanced in all the austerities, knowledge, study of scriptures. Yajnik Brahmanas. So in this way, when the Lord is not satisfied, with Daksha, the Lord only externally, he would come to his sacrifice, externally satisfied. But actually, cause of his offense and all, then Lord would dissatisfy Daksha also. Daksha could also fit over here. Okay. So in this way, Nadu is explaining that even the Vedic activities, and what is recommended in the Vedas, they are useless. What to speak of non-Vedic or materialistic activities? One should understand. All the Vedic activities are useless without satisfying the Lord. What to speak of secular activities and so on. Good.
The transcendental practices that do not ultimately help one realize the Supreme Personal Godhead are useless. Be they mystic yoga practice, the analytical study of matter, severe austerity, the acceptance of sannyasa, or the study of Vedic literature. All these may be very important aspects of spiritual advancement, but unless one understands the Supreme Personal Godhead, Hari, all these processes are useless.
Okay, so without the Lord's satisfaction, even this transcendental mystic yoga, which is the transcendental aim, that is also useless. The Lord is not satisfied. Yes, go ahead.
Actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original source of all self-realization. Consequently, the goal of all auspicious activities, karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, so therefore, He is the source of all the activities. He is the original source of all the self-realization, basically. And so he is the source of all the prescribed activities, all the Vedas, etc., etc. Therefore, he should be pleased by all the activities which are mentioned in all this series. His pleasure should be the goal. That is being emphasized. Okay. Let's recite 14. तस्कन्दभुजोपशाखः प्राणोपहाराचयसेन्द्रियाणाम् तथैव सर्वार्हणमच्युतेज्य
As pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else. And as the supplying food to the stomach enlightens the senses and limbs of the body, simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are parts of the Supreme Personality.
Okay, so the Lord is the source of everything. Therefore, He alone should be worshipped. His pleasure, everything should be done for His pleasure. He is the source of everything, as described. Or the word used in the previous verse 13 is Sarveshamapi Bhutanam Harir Atma Atmada Priya. This is important. That means He is the Atma of the Atma. See, just imagine. If you do any activity which doesn't satisfy the soul, that activity is useless ultimately. The soul is dissatisfied. Only the body is taken care of, but the soul is dissatisfied, the activity is useless. Similarly, the Lord is the Atma of the Atma. Therefore, when He is satisfied, then the living entity will be automatically satisfied. Therefore, Hari is the Atma of the Atma. The purpose of taking care of all the body and everything is so the Atma is happy, satisfied. And similarly, without the Atma of the Atma is actually most dear, or another sense, the body is dear because of the Atma. It said, I is dear than mine, always. For any Jivatma, I is dearer than mine. A person, everything else is dear because of relationship. I is always dearer than mine in this world. But actually the Lord is the dearmost because He is the eye of the eye, the Atma of the Atma. Therefore He is the most dear. This logic Sukadeva Goswami gives. Therefore anything is dear to the Jiva, it's because of super soul. Actually, who is the Atma of the Atma. Anything is dear to the soul, it is because of presence of super soul. Otherwise it will not be. The logic is extended. Because of the Atma, because I, the things are dear to this world. Mine is dear because of I. If I is not there, like people say, Sar Salamatu Pagdi Hazar. Have you heard this? There is a term, Sar Salamat Pagdi Hazar. Pagdi means crown. If your head is intact, then you can have thousands of crowns. The crown is there if the head is there. Like if the life is there, then the things are there as long as the life is there, basically. So, therefore the Atma is dear because of Paramatma. Extending the same logic. Therefore, the Lord is the Atma of the Atma. anything that is dear to us, it is because of His presence. We may not know that. Or only Atma will only be satisfied when the Paramatma is satisfied with the Atma of the Atma. We may not know that. So therefore, the Lord is the Atma of the Atma. He should be worshipped alone, and the example is being given. Example is being given. Just like if the roots are watered, then all the यथा तरोर मूल विसेचनेन तृप्यन्त स्कंद भुज उपशाखा. So how is the tree formed? There is a root, then there is a skand, one trunk. And one trunk divided into two is called bhuja. Like two arms. If you had a tree divided into two, they are bhuja. And then there are branches, shakha. And there are sub branches, upshakha. So like that. But they all are nourished by pouring water in the root. Therefore, Lord alone should be worshipped. So there are some people who are very intelligent and they find loophole. They say we have no problem, okay, so we not should be worshipped. But water the root. But is it not better that you water the root and also water the leaves and the twigs? So we will worship the Lord and also Devatas by this analogy. What is the harm? We water the root, all are being nourished, but we'll also water the leaves and the twigs and the branches, and they will also shine. So our worship is better than yours. This is the logic one can derive from here. Therefore, immediately Narada Muni gives another analogy to counteract that by saying, Pranopahara Jathendriyana, feeding stomach, one nourishes all the senses, all the limbs. Now that is checkmate. You cannot feed the eyes or the ears, otherwise you become blind and deaf. Therefore, worshipping others is a fault. Narada Muni wants to say.
Actually, one student actually asked me this question that how can, if you imagine the banyan tree, there are many roots are there.
Yeah.
So like many there are. So then the second analogy.
We will try to find out the loopholes. Always. Narada Muni immediately gives the second analogy by saying Lord alone should be worshipped. Worship of Devatas separate from the Lord is a fault. By second analogy is ruled out the independent worship of anyone else. 31:15.
During the rainy season, water is generated from the sun, and in due course of time, during the summer season, the very same water is again absorbed by the sun. Similarly, all living entities, moving and inert, are generated from the earth, and again after some time, they all return to the earth as dust. Similarly, everything emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in due course of time, everything enters into Him again.
Okay, so how the Lord is the source of everything is being described there. So it is the sun who actually sucks the water, and the sun who provides the water. The clouds are the instrument in the hand of sun. Clouds are the instrument in the hand of sun. Behind the cloud is the sun who is creating the clouds, and then the clouds pours forth water. So therefore, immediate sense the cloud seems to be giving the water and taking the water, but the sun drinks the water from this earth, from the ocean, and then form the clouds. The sun is described over here. Sun is the source. Sun is the source of the withdrawing the water, giving the water. Sun is the main cause. Similarly, earth is the cause of the bodies of all living entities. All living entities arise from the earth and go back to earth. So earth is the main cause, and therefore the Lord is the root of everything. The same topic continues. He alone should be worshipped. He alone should be satisfied. He is the root of everything. Just like the earth is the cause of all the bodies, and the water is taken by the sun and then given back by the sun, so on and so forth. So this analogy shows the Lord is the root of everything. He alone should be worshipped. The same thing continues in every verse. The Lord alone should be worshipped. He should be satisfied. 16th.
Just as the sunshine is non-different from the sun, the cosmic manifestation is also non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality is therefore all pervasive within this material creation. When the senses are active, they appear to be part and parcel of the body. But when the body is asleep, their activities are unmanifest. Similarly, the whole cosmic creation appears different and yet non-different from the Supreme Person.
Okay, so the Lord is the source of everything. This universe arises from Him. This universe arises from Him. Just like sun rays arise from sun. Very nice. So you are leaving? Wait, there is some prasada here. I had kept this prasada. I thought last day we'll have Madhurena Samapaye, sweet ending. This is.
It is all the time it is.
But we should especially end on a sweet note. This is Mahaprasada Radha Ras Bihari from Juhu. I came from Juhu. So I requested the devotees for some Mahaprasad offered to the deities. So this is the Mahaprasad. Okay, Prabhu. Since you are leaving early, the early bird, what do you call? Early bird, you know, what will benefit. All the birds do not follow. There is enough prasadam for all of you over here.
Today I want to
Yes.
because I can't.
No, that's fine, that's all right. Arranged. Okay. Yes. So two examples are given. See, the living entities, the whole cosmic manifestation arise from the Lord, like sun rays arise from sun. But is there any point of time the sun rays arise from the sun? No. The sun rays emanate from the sun, but they are eternally with the sun. It's not that at some point of time it happens. So this knowledge is very important. Therefore, the jiva is the eternal part and parcel of the Lord. Eternally fragmented part and parcel of the Lord. It's like sun rays are coming from the sun, emanating from the sun, but they are always been part of the sun. Similarly, another example is given how the Lord is source of everything, but they are eternally there. The jiva is eternally there, Lord is eternal, the prakriti is also eternal. Another example is given, the senses, during their sleep and so on, the senses may not be manifest. And when a person wakes up, the senses are manifest. So therefore the jivas, the cosmic manifestation, it actually is not created at any point of time. It becomes manifest and unmanifest. It's always there. On waking up, the senses are manifest. When asleep, the senses of the jiva lie down dormant. So the cosmic manifestation of the Lord, everything emanates from Him, it manifests, unmanifest, manifests, unmanifest, eternally. It's not created as such. It actually manifests and unmanifests. So that so-called destruction is a process, but actually is unmanifesting. It is not destroyed. In general, we might use the term, it's created and destroyed in an ordinary way. But actually, more specifically, it's always there, it's manifest and unmanifest. 17th.
My dear kings, sometimes in the sky there are clouds, sometimes there is darkness, and sometimes there is illumination. The appearance of all these takes place consecutively. Similarly, in the Supreme Absolute, the modes of passion, darkness, and goodness appear as consecutive energies. Sometimes they appear and sometimes they disappear.
Okay, the three gunas also arise from the Lord. Now, he said that the Lord is the cause of the universe. But how can the Lord not be affected or transformed? This is a very important question. You say, how can the cause of the pot be not the earth? The cause of the pot is the earth, which is the same quality as the ingredient cause of the pot. Therefore, how is that the Lord from whom the universe arises, composed of gunas, is free from the gunas? The example is given that of sun. Sun creates the clouds and the fog, and there is sometimes illumination, which is the cloud and fog are there. Sun is the cause, but the sun is never affected by its own creations. So therefore, in this material world also we can see the cause sometimes may not be affected by its own products. Therefore, the Lord, though He creates the universe composed of gunas, He is never touched by the gunas. This is very important, Siddhant. Why? Because many spiritualists, they consider the Lord also temporarily when He appears as Avatara is under the three modes of materialism. His form is under Sattva. Prakrta kariya mane Vishnu kalevar Vishnu ninda ara nahi vihara upar. He said the greatest blasphemy of the Lord is to consider that He is under Prakriti, His form, or is under the three gunas. This is one of the greatest blasphemy. It is a great offense. Therefore, Bhagavatam warns again and again, never consider Lord to be under three modes, transformed by three modes, or contaminated by the three modes of material nature. It is a great offense. One doesn't progress in Bhakti. Okay. 17th we are done. The creation of the sun is forever free, therefore this world comes from the Lord but never touched by it. We have studied this now, but again we are revising it. 18th.
Because the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes, He is the super soul of all individual living entities. And He exists as both the remote and immediate cause. Since He is aloof from the material ignitions, He is free from their interactions and is Lord of material nature. You should therefore engage in His devotional service, thinking yourself validated with Him.
Okay, so therefore, now kind of summarizing, He is the cause of all causes, He is the super soul. If you see He is the Kal, He is the Pradhan, right? We say the Kal is the cause, Pradhan is the cause. They all are actually Him only. So, it is He who is the ultimate cause. The Kala, Pradhana are not different from Him, basically. What is being described here is there could be many other indirect causes of the universe which we study, but He is the ultimate cause. Therefore, He alone should be worshipped and worshipped directly. Supreme Lord, Supreme God of all should worship. Although He Himself is Prakriti, He Himself is Pradhan, He is the Kala, but those forms should not be worshipped. Okay? The Lord directly should be worshipped. The most important verse in this, Atmayak Bhaven Bhajadhvam Adha. Adha means directly. How? With Ek Bhav. With Ek Bhav means with full concentration of the mind. With all your heart, with full concentration of your mind, worship the Lord directly who is the ultimate cause. Don't worship the other intermediate causes or indirect causes. Directly worship the Supreme Lord. Nineteenth.
By showing mercy to all living entities, being satisfied somehow or other, and restricting the senses from sense enjoyment, one can very quickly satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead Janatana.
Okay, so therefore the argument is instructing. So you should only act for His satisfaction. Let's worship Him. Everything that we have should be used in His service. All the senses, consciousness that we have, the mind, intelligence, all the different processes should be used to satisfy Him. And one should, some Vaishnava qualities Narmani mentioned, which will satisfy the Lord, which is that showing mercy to all living entities. Thus showing, and then santushtya yena kena cha. One should practice satisfaction, some or the other. One should control the senses. In this way, when one does that, one satisfies tushyati ashu janardana. Very soon one satisfies the Supreme Lord. this is correlated work with those three important principles, which is Jivedaya, Vaishnav Seva, Naveduchi. You can correlate Jivedaya, Daya Bhuteshu, Santushtya Yen Kenacha. One can, it's mentioned in CC that Sada Namaleva Yadalavete Santosh, they two are correlated. Yadalavete Santosh. Chant the holy name while being satisfied with whatever comes. So when one chant the holy name, it helps us to be Santushtya Yen Kenacha. Both are correlated. This is correlated with chanting the Lord's name. And serve and control one's senses is correlated with Vaishnav Seva. What is, how we can control the senses? By engaging them in the service of the Lord, Rishikena Rishikesha. And the service of the devotee is not different from service of the Lord. The Lord is even more pleased when devotees are served. Therefore, when there are senses serve the Lord and the devotees, one's senses are controlled. So that way, these three are correlated with three principles: Jivedaya, Nameruchi, Vaishnav Seva. Santushtya Yenkenacha, Sarvendriyo Upashantaya. Lord is satisfied. Yes. Did you miss out anything? Okay, so now 20th.
Being completely cleansed of all material desires, the devotee are freed from all material contamination. Thus, they can always think of the Lord constantly and address Him very feelingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing Himself to be controlled by His devotees, does not leave them for a second, just as the sky overhead never becomes invisible.
So when the devotees call upon the Lord with great feelings, the important thing is the devotees who are devoid of material desires. The devotees who are devoid of material desires, when they call out to the Lord with feelings, the Lord is being controlled by them, is always present and never leaves them. Just like space never leaves us. In this world, wherever we are, the space is always there. So even if some place, if there is no air, a vacuum is created or whatever, the space is always there. The space can never leave, actually. Even other elements, maybe we may not be in touch with any other elements, but the space is always on our side. Similarly, the Lord, those devotees who are free from material desires and feelingly called to the Lord never leaves them their sight. That is being mentioned. Or this was described how the Lord gives Himself to His devotees. How the Lord gives Himself to those devotees who are pure in their motives and who feelingly call out to the Lord. Okay, that's text 20th.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes very dear to those devotees who have no material possessions but are fully happy in possessing the devotional service of the Lord. Indeed, the Lord relishes the devotional activities of such devotees. Those who are puffed up with material education, wealth, aristocracy, and fruitive activity are very proud of possessing material things, and they often deride the devotees. Even if such people offer the Lord worship, the Lord never accepts them.
Okay, so the Lord is very pleased with the devotees, as said in the previous verse. Na bhajati ku manishi na. However, those who are proud, ku manishi na, their intelligence is polluted by their possessions, by their achievements, by their wealth, and so on and so forth. And those who insult the devotees of the Lord, like Daksha himself is an example of that. He became very proud and insulted Lord Shiva, so on and so forth. So those who decry the devotees of the Lord, being very proud of their assets, the Lord is never pleased with them. He never accepts their worship. So like Durudana wanted to feed Chapan Bhog to the Lord. The Lord would never accept it. So many such examples can be given. So the Lord is only pleased by devotion and not by any other process, especially by proud people who criticize devotees. The Lord never accepts their worship. Okay, 22.
Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient, he becomes dependent on his devotees. He does not care for the goddess of fortune, nor for the kings and demigods who are after the favor of the goddess of fortune. Where is that person who is actually grateful and will not worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
It said that no, Shriyam Anu Charutim Tad Arthinascha. So even the personification of all wealth, God is the fortune, the Lord doesn't care for God is the fortune. What does it mean?
He's not attached to that.
He's not attached to her. And actually this goddess is the Devi. See, there are two aspects of God is the fortune. One is always with the Lord, pure devotee. The Lord always, as pure devotee, the Lord always reciprocates with the love. The Lord is just like he is controlled by the devotees, he is controlled by the supreme God of the fortune who never leaves the service of the lotus feet. He is controlled by her love, no doubt. But there is another aspect of God of the fortune. She is the Devi aspect, the goddess, who is Chanchala. Dhana Lakshmi and the 9 Lakshmi and all that people worship. So people worship the Devi, who is the expansion of that. And therefore this refers to that. The Lord doesn't care for God of the fortune, the personification of wealth. Right? She is the goddess. We are not talking the eternal consort here. Though there is oneness between the two because of the expansion, though there is some similarity, but we should understand such statement mainly apply to whom? The goddess of fortune, who is the demigoddess. So, and then Lord doesn't care for all the kings, devatas, other humans who follow her for wealth. Desiring wealth, so many people worship her. The Lord doesn't care for them. He only cares for his devotees. That means he only depends on his devotees. He doesn't even depend upon the personification of all wealth. God is a fortune. Here we refer to both the same term, but yes, one is eternal consort, one is goddess. Okay, so therefore the Lord he cares for the devotees so much that he becomes dependent on his devotees. He becomes dependent on his devotees. Therefore, though he is completely satisfied, he is Purna. Okay. Yes. It said, see, the Lord is complete in himself. There is nothing that he needs. But when a person desires to serve him, he doesn't need the service, but a person desires to serve him, he is pleased by that desire. That is love. That element. He doesn't need the service as such. But what pleases him is the desire to serve. There lies the love. So the Lord, what satisfies the Lord is actually when the devotee desires to please him. And that gives a great satisfaction to the Lord, and thus he is controlled by the devotee who offers this kind of devotion to him. And he doesn't even care for God as a fortune. Therefore, Katham Amum Udvisrije Uman Kritagya. Therefore, who will give up such a Lord? If a person is a grateful, which grateful person will give up the Lord? That means someone gives the Lord, that person is ungrateful. That is the meaning of this. Where is that person who is actually grateful and will not worship the Lord? That Lord who doesn't need anything but becomes satisfied by the desire to give in the devotee. Okay, 23. Now Maitreya begins to speak.
The great sage Maitreya continued. My dear King Vidura, see, since Radhamani, the son of Lord Brahma, thus described all these relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the Prachetas. Afterward, he returned to Brahmaloka.
Okay, so Narad Muni spoke all this Adhyatma Gyan, primarily consisting of that the Lord alone should be served by everything we have, and His pleasure alone should be the goal of one's life, Adhyatma Jnana. And thus speaking 14 verses, Narad Muni left. Next, 24th.
Hearing from the Narada's mouth the glories of the Lord, which vanquished all the ill fortune of the world, the Prasitas also become attached to Sri Krishna Movement. Meditating on his lotus feet, they advanced to the ultimate destination.
Okay. Thus, by hearing from Narad Muni the glories of the Lord and the purpose of life as a satisfaction, they meditate on Lord's feet, and also they attain the ultimate destination, that is the supreme abode of the Lord. Okay, the Prachetas attained the supreme abode, that is text 22. 25. The 24 we just read. 25.
My dear Vidula, I have told you everything you wanted to know about the conversation between Narada and Prachetas, the conversation describing the glories of the Lord. I have related this as far as possible.
Okay, so in this way, Maitreya is saying that whatever you asked, I have related. I have now answered all your questions. Completed the answer to all the Vidura's questions. Further now, Shukadeva Goswami speaks.
Sukadeva Goswami continued, O best of kings, King Pariksit, I have now finished telling about the descendants of the first son of Swayambhuman, Uttanapad. I shall now try to relate the activities of the descendants of Priyavrata, the second son of Swayambhuman. Please hear them attentively.
So this was not heard by Vidura from Maitreya. He only heard up to 4th canto.
Okay.
The Uttanapad and the 3 daughters. Priyavrat's pastime was not heard by Vidura from Maitreya. Sukadeva Goswami tells now. Okay, so there Vidura was completely satisfied and he actually departed to Hastinapur. to actually deliver his brother. So therefore 5th canto onwards are not heard in this conversation of Maitreya Vidura, the activities of Priyavrat. 27.
Although Maharaj Priyavrata received instructions from the great sage Narada, he still engaged in ruling here. After fully enjoying material possessions, he divided his property among his sons. He then attained a position by which he could return home back to God.
Okay, so he was in the kind of Paramahamsa stage of life, or renounced fully, but then he also engaged in ruling. Finally, again renounced and attained, went back to God. So now this will invite a question from Parikshit. Basically, that will be the next canto beginning. Okay, go ahead.
My dear king, in this way, after hearing the transcendental messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees from the great sage Maitreya, Vidya was overwhelmed with ecstasy. With tears in his eyes, he immediately fell down at the lotus feet of his Guru, his spiritual master. He then fixed the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart.
Okay, so just the activities of Prachetas. Vidura became overwhelmed, he offered his obeisance to his Guru, fixed the Lord within his heart, and departed basically. Further narration, Sukadeva Goswami is telling Parikshit. He has summarized activities of Priyavrat, actually. Then after the question, he will elaborate. Go ahead.
Sri Vidura said, O great mystic, O greatest of all devotees, by your causeless mercy I have been shown the path of liberation from this world of darkness. By following this path, a person liberated from the material world can return home back to God.
So Vidura is thanking, expressing his gratitude to Maitreya. Yes. Further.
Shukadeva Goswami continued. Vidura thus offered obeisances unto the great sage Maitreya, and taking his permission started for the city of Hastinapura to see his own kinsmen, although he had no material desires.
Okay, someone may say, oh, did he went to the palace for his kinsmen again to stay with them? No. You do material desires. He went for some special purpose and we know to deliver his brother. Okay. Fine. 31.
O king, those who hear these topics about kings who are completely surrendered to the supreme personal Godhead obtain without difficulty a long life, wealth, good reputation, good fortune, and ultimately the opportunity to return home back to Godhead.
Okay. So in this way, one hears this topic of the kings in the line of Uttanapad. Sobrumanu, Uttanapad, Dhruva, and so on. One will attain Ayuhu, Dhanam, Yasha, Swasti, Gatim, Aishwaryam, everything. One will obtain all of this, and then all of this should be utilized in the service of the Lord for His satisfaction. Basically, as we already taught. And thus we can in this way follow in the footsteps of these great souls and also perfect our lives. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we have completed this unit and our fourth canto. Another great accomplishment. We have completed fourth canto study. It's not easy to, continue to study Bhagavatam canto after canto. So I congratulate you for completing the study of fourth canto and wish you all the best for your study of the next two cantos, the part of Bhakti Vaibhav, and you may continue study Bhagavatam eternally, actually. Hare Krishna. So we have some time. Any questions? 5 minutes we have for 9:30.
Daksha was born to Prachetas. So at that time he could remember his previous birth or Brahma told him.
No, he remembered. Seems like he remembered that. The memory is given by the Lord. Yeah. He went to perform austerities to reinstate himself. Position. Yes.
31st chapter, verse 1.
31st chapter, verse?
This chapter.
Verse
1 is mentioned thousands of years.
Verse, which verse?
Thousands of years he lived.
3,000 years.
3,000 years. Thousands of years he lived with.
Okay, thousands of years. Thousands of years. I hope at home for thousands of years.
That time he resumed his Prajapati role or after that?
See, English translation, it is for many years or thousands of years. Check the Sanskrit years, Sanskrit doesn't have thousands of years. So sometime English translation may not exactly reflect the literal meaning. This is text 1, right? Tad utpanna vijnana ashmadhoksha bhashitam swaranta atmane bharyam visrijya pravarjan griha. So he lived in home for a long time actually, in one sense. There is not mention of thousand in the over here. In the sloka itself. So therefore English translation may have that he instead of saying he lived at home for a long time and then gave up.
Maybe it is from the commentary Prabhupada is written.
No, the Chakravarti part also doesn't say. Okay, so basically, yeah. So when the verse says something thousands, pluralness, sahasras, then 3 is default. Here the word thousand has been translated probably for he lived at home. It's nothing is indicated in the verse, but Prabhupada puts it like that. Right? Okay. So here is no indication of the numbers here. Okay, yes, Prabhu.
Two questions. One is in the text 6, Prachitas telling that we could covered by ignorance, right?
Yes, we almost forgot instruction of the Shiva and Vishnu, and that's when our Krishna conscious got covered.
My question is, there are 9 brothers, in association.
Yes.
Because Bharat Maharaj, okay, one person was association.
Yes.
There are 9.
No, Bharat Maharaj's case is different. He became attached to the deer. Even, see again as I said, the two things. One thing is their humility. Right? They one thing is their humility. They feel, when we were, one time they were exclusively worshipping the Lord. Right? And then when they took responsibility of household life and so on, managing the kingdom, naturally there will be, one will not have that much absorption in Krishna. We can understand. So therefore, that kind of feeling arises in them. And there is a truth also, when one is involved, even in the association of devotees, even say in ISKCON, when one gets too much involved in some project, suppose. If you get too much involved in a project, then your direct Krishna consciousness actually, you don't feel that much nourishment. There is too much heaviness of project. And of course, then again, you will be reinstated because you have pleased the Lord and Guru by doing the project. You will be reinstated. That is, during the time when you are managing the project, your consciousness, that Krishna consciousness inspiration and alignment comes down. Because we are dealing with so much of matter, material energy. Is it not? We all have experienced it. It happens. This is the nature of this world. I'm not saying it should not be done. So many great personalities have done it. They have taken the responsibility of kingdom and so on. During that point, from exclusive service to multiple responsibility of managing the material assets and so on, so many things, punishing people, rewarding people, then their consciousness may not be that illuminated like before. But again, they will reinstate themselves. Yes, Prabhu.
Can you just also understand, like Prachetas being instructed by Lord Shiva, they performed 10,000 years of underwater tapasya.
Yeah.
And after that they got the association of Lord Krishna. But now, just thousands of years, 3,000 years of tapasya they did in householder life and they got Narada.
It's not mentioned how long. How long is not mentioned. What the question? Repeat again.
No, they did tapasya for 10,000 years.
But
their household life of 3,000 years.
40,000 years.
They got Narada. It was the best benediction.
Okay, they got the Narada Muni. They again got
the householder life is only more tapasya.
That is wrong. The 3,000 years of household life was more tapasya than 10,000 years of water.
Okay. Fine.
But it is good realization that it is tapasya.
That realization is good. For whatever duration, that was the result of that tapasya.
And
Yes.
my question also something towards that, why Bhagavatam actually fast forwards all the activities and comes to the point of renunciation. All focus is there on it.
So at some point of time, but Parikshit rules is also described quite elaborately as his renunciation. His punishment, reward to age of Kali, is going around. So like that. But the whole point is Bhagavatam doesn't get involved in too many details. When the details are not connected with direct devotional service, so Bhagavatam quickly comes to pure devotional service, skipping many details. So for other side, when the Lord appears, Sukadeva Swami never described it in beautiful form. Because that is actually direct, that the people of that form makes devotees attached to Krishna. But many details, like Bhishmadev spoke on hundreds of dharmas. Bhagavatam focuses only on his devotional aspect. Bhagavatam only selected that. Otherwise, Bhishma speaking so many chapters, thousands of verses in Mahabharata. Bhishma speaking. So Bhagavatam skips all of that. Directly focuses on not just renunciation, it's a renunciation in devotional service. It comes upon a devotional service, basically. So that's the beauty of Bhagavatam. It doesn't go much here and there. And describe the context, again, pure devotional service. Repeatedly and profusely glorify the Lord and Bhakti to the Lord, as instructed by Narada Muni to Vyasa.
There are very few chapters which talk about descendants of the kings, or only exceptions to Maharaj.
Yeah, and that also is very quick, very quick. Wherever Bhagavatam just comes quick to the pure Bhakti.
And prayers, whenever prayers are there,
No,
full
because
detail.
prayers are filled with so many, it's unique bhav of the devotees. Actually, the prayers are the most beautiful aspect. Yes. Filled with the different flavors of devotion, prayers. So Bhagavatam introduces us to so many varieties of flavors of devotions like this. Okay, Hare Krishna. So thank you once again. Rudra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Please have honored this Mahaprasad.
So once again, I would like to thank Prabhuji. Right, such a wonderful realization, so like nectar, and in between you were adding some saffron and some camphor. Because Prabhuji likes.
Hare Krishna.
Like that so much, so we would like to have Prabhuji's association again and again. And I pray also
We get more-
if there is Mahaprabhu to serve their worship, that he can continue.
We get more nectar to ears and
Yeah.